Alright, this video is going to cover part of section 4.5, which is entitled Exponential and Logarithmic Equations and Applications. So now what we're going to be doing is solving for x, where x is now in the exponent. And these first few problems are going to be what I call same base problems. And here, let me put up our example. So our example here is that we're going to solve for x. Okay, so the first part is 3 to the 2x minus 6 equals 81. So here our goal is to rewrite both pieces to have the same base, because what we're going to be using is that one-to-one property where if I have b to the x equals b to the y, then I know since they're one-to-one that x is equal to y. So that's why we're trying to get the same base so that we can just set their exponents equal to each other. So here, I already have one written as an exponent, so my goal is to use the base of 3. So now I have to determine, can I rewrite 81 as 3 to some power? Well, let's see. I think it's 3 to the 4th power, yeah? So 3 to the 4th here. And so now that they have the same base, I can just set their exponents equal to each other and solve for x because of this one-to-one property over here. So now I'm just going to solve for x. And so I get 2x equals 10, and so x equals 5. Okay, so like I said, my goal is to get the same base. So let's do another example here. So next up I have 25 to the 4 minus t equals 1/5 to the 3t plus 1. Now this one, they do not have the same base. And this one has a 5, this one's 25. So usually I try to get the smallest base possible. So in this case, well, let's think about what number raised to an exponent gives me 25? Well, 5 squared gives me 25. So I'm going to try to aim for the power to have a base of 5. So I have 5 squared, because that was 25, raised to the 4 minus t. Now here's the other question, is 1/5, how can I rewrite that as a base 5? 5 to what power gives me 1/5? If I see a little fraction, typically that points me to an exponent. And in this case, it's going to be 5 to the negative 1 power. Okay, now I need to simplify to where I have 5 raised to something equals 5 raised to something. Now if I have an exponent raised to an exponent, okay, that means I'm going to multiply 2 times 4 minus t. Oops. Okay, and the reason I rewrote this little extra step is just so you know that we do have to distribute our coefficient to both pieces. So I have 5 to the 8 minus t equals 5 to the negative 3t plus 1. So now that I have 5 raised to something equals 5 raised to something, now I can set their exponents equal to each other using that one-to-one property and solve for x. So I'll subtract 1, plus t, plus t. So, oops, sorry, that should be a minus 2t. I apologize. Here, let me get my little eraser. I'll talk about how I distribute, and then I don't do it. Okay, get my little pencil back. I apologize, minus 2t. Alright, so now I'm going to add 2t. Oh, and then I just realized that I switched a positive and a negative sign. Gosh, I'm struggling here today. And you guys aren't here to catch me when I do goofy things. Alright. Hopefully you caught my little errors. Again, I apologize. So in the end, I should get 9 equals negative t. and then t equals negative 9 is my final answer. Whew, that was a long ways coming. All right. So next up, I'm going to put a couple little examples here, and I want you to pause the video and work them out and see if you can figure out what the answer is. So again, we're trying to rewrite these having the same base, and that way, oops. You can set their exponents equal to each other and solve for your variable. Okay, so I'll pause the video and see what you get, and I'll pause and then work it out. Alright, so hopefully after you pause the video, you got the same answers that I did. On the first one, the base was, should have been, that you're going for was 4. Okay, so then you get 4 to the 2x minus 3 equals 4 to the third. And then you set their exponents equal, and hopefully you got x equals 3. Now over here, 27 and 1 over 3, your goal was to have a base of 3. So then you get 3 to the third equals 2 raised to the 2w plus 5, and then 3 to the negative 1 raised to the 2 minus 5w. And hopefully, after doing your multiplication and distributing, you got w equals negative 17. All right. Well, if you're doing pretty good with this, move on to the next video.